current situation in Somalia and the current situation in Haiti fit into the U.S. foreign policy goals?
Well, in Somalia, the real goal was, of course, to make Somalia safe for the oil corporations. I should have mentioned that in the talk here. The mainstream media have totally ignored the story about oil in Somalia. There was one remarkable article, January 18, 1993, in the LA Times, which said that 3/4 of Somalia had been conceded by the former ruler to 4 major American oil companies, Conoco, Amoco, Phillips, whatever, and that they strongly believe that there are major oil deposits in Somalia. George Bush, when he was vice president in '86, went around in Yemen and other places saying that that whole region, the whole Cape, the Horn of Africa, was very rich in oil, and they thought Somalia had really a lot of it. This explains his strange behavior as President of the United States to suddenly send troops into Somalia out of the conviction that he wanted to feed the Somalians. Now, the Somalians have had a famine for 10 years. He never moved his troops once. These Somalians, there are about 12 nations in Africa that have had drought and famine for over a decade. He hasn't done a thing. He hasn't done a single thing for any of them. So why now is he suddenly so moved that he actually sent troops? And how do you feed people with troops, you know? Why do you need troops to feed them? Well, supposedly the warlords were stealing all the food for themselves or something. And in fact, the drought and the famine in Somalia was alleviating. They'd had a good crop that year. That's the other irony, not irony, but hypocrisy of it. Well, once the troops were sent, there wasn't a single U.S. official or corporate executive who ever once again mentioned oil. The word was dropped. Didn't tell anybody. And that explains why Clinton is so reluctant to leave. It's not that he might look bad, or that's why he went in the first place, and that's why he's keeping the troops. He's continuing with Bush. There's oil there, man, and when there's oil, then U.S. policy becomes an instrument of the oil corporations. In fact, when the first troops arrived, they used Conoco's headquarters for their command post, and they paid Conoco rent to use the headquarters. Imagine if it was just a school or some other institution, you know, public institution. They'd come in and just take it over and use it. But with Conoco, they paid them rent. So the American taxpayer is paying for these troops to go there to protect Conoco's oil, and then paying Conoco rent to house them. It's a very good system if you're an oil company.